Oh hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Bliss Foster and today we're going to be dissecting the Off-White Spring-Summer 2018 collection by Virgil Abloh. I felt really compelled to do an Off-White show, and specifically this Off-White show, because of the way it was being received and the way it was being interpreted by different members of the media. If you read a lot of the reviews for this show, you can kind of see that there's a lot of confusion about how we treat Off-White. Like him or hate him, Virgil is kind of our Andy Warhol. He's someone that a massive amount of people are calling a hack, and somebody that a ton of people love and very devotedly follow, and who at the end of the day is just making gobs of money. What I'm wanting to do with this analysis video is kind of cast off those value assessments of like, is this good, is this bad, and instead just try to fully unpack what is Virgil trying to do with this Runway show? Not only answers to that, but also I think that slowing down and taking some time with a single piece of work by this artist, I think that can kind of help to illuminate how Virgil uses references and how he does his work across the board and not just with this single Runway show. So first we're going to be taking some time to kind of look at the way that this was reviewed by other sources at the time that it came out. Second, we're going to look at some of the details from the Jimmy Choo collab that we're seeing in the footwear throughout this collection. And that's going to lead us into the third section where we're able to back up a little bit and look at the entire collection with a new perspective. And as per always with these Runway videos, I strongly recommend that you pause this briefly and go watch the original Runway show video. They spend a lot of money filming these things and they're really gorgeous. You should go and watch it. Obviously, we are reaching the 20th anniversary of the untimely and very tragic death of Princess Diana. So there's a lot of recaps on news sites and a lot of retrospectives that are being put out. And so I think Virgil is going to kind of fit into the larger narrative around the remembrance of Princess Diana. The fashion world especially is all over this because Princess Diana just absolutely crushed it with her style. Unbelievably well-dressed person. So when one of the most hyped designers in the world releases a collection called The People's Princess, a bunch of different publications jumped at the idea of being able to do one-to-one comparisons with Princess Diana's actual wardrobe. There were definitely journalists in the 90s whose whole job it was just to follow the narrative of what Princess Diana is trying to say with her wardrobe. And a lot of those people were able to contribute to some of these articles. But the hilarious thing is that there's a few references in there that are a concrete comparison to what Diana was actually doing, but for the most part, that isn't a very useful way of approaching this show. Oh, hang on. So just so we can get it out of the way, let's go ahead and cover all of the actual direct one-to-one references that are in the show. Look 36, look 21, look 1, and look 2 all reference the fact that she really loved wearing white poplin dress shirts. That was one of the most consistent hallmarks of her style, were these really crisp shirts. The different colored gloves here reference the fact that she actually did go to a formal event with 2 different kinds of elbow-length gloves. So cool. So when you join the royal family, you have a dress code that you have to adhere to basically any time that you're in public. Princess Diana always rocked this dress code in a really fun way. There were a lot of interesting little flips that she was able to do within the realms of etiquette. But her style exploded after her divorce when she was no longer bound by the terms of etiquette. There's just an endless supply of insane fits. Okay, hang on. We don't want to go too deep into that. Let's stay focused. The pattern on this dress is referenced in this dress. Slightly different shape of dress, but the reference is really clear. These looks are really interesting because they're taken from one of the most widely distributed pictures of Princess Diana that has ever been. And okay, super interesting note about this look. Princess Diana obviously looks really good right here. Out here looking foxy as hell. After this photo came out, countless women the world over looked at this picture and said, I have to know where that shirt came from. But to this day, we have no idea who designed that shirt. It's one of the only major pieces of her wardrobe that we just don't know where it came from. So, of course, Virgil claims ownership over the garment by stamping the Off-White logo and the, quote, pattern stamp on the garment. This look was inspired by maybe one of the most perfectly executed outfits that Princess Diana ever put together. The Escada elephant print tie with the matching Escada elephant print suit. Princess Diana, what are you doing to me? She's so hot. Okay, gonna keep it all business, just like Princess Diana. The crop top in this look is built and shaped to look like the dress that she wore in her first public appearance after her divorce, also known as the revenge dress. The hilarious croquis that are present throughout the show are a reference to an outfit that she wore skiing one time, where she seemed to be saying to the public, "I am the only one who can pull off croquis." We also have these looks, which seems to be trying to do an update on this look. Definitely not a one-to-one comparison, but it does look strangely similar, right? Okay, that's all we're gonna do for that. So now that we've seen the few comparisons that can be made between Princess Diana's actual wardrobe and this collection, we're now going to move into part So during my standard info gathering part of the research for this episode, I reached out to Jimmy Choo and said, "Hey guys, since you did a collab with Off-White for this show, I'm doing a research project for this show, could you send me the press release that you sent out to everybody?" And it turns out that that had the secret to unlock this entire thing. Sandra Choi is the creative director for Jimmy Choo right now. She and Virgil met at a party and they talked a little bit about collaborating. And the first thing that Virgil sent to her as far as direction for the collaboration went was a picture of a glass slipper. And while that concept didn't come through in a very literal way, it did come through in a very modernized way. They were able to achieve the glass slipper idea by wrapping classic Jimmy Choo silhouettes in this plastic that kind of gives it this modern cool girl princess look. But to me, the biggest thing that I pull out of this press release is that we understand what Virgil's trying to do with the show. It has nothing really to do with literally transposing Princess Diana's wardrobe into a runway show. It's much more about facilitating a conversation about the spirit and the story of who Princess Diana was in a modern context. In an interview with Female Mag, Virgil says she was and is still a role model, and the whole premise of the Off-White collection is asking the question, who is the new woman? I like the idea of Diana as a muse. The point of this collection was to tell a story that an impactful figure like her is our living version of Cinderella. Oh my gosh, Bliss, what do you mean? Could you summarize this in some way? Yes, I can. Welcome to part 3. Virgil is not just saying, here's a collection of looks that Princess Diana wore that I liked. Can you imagine how boring and simple that would be? Though that is what a lot of designers would do. They would just take a collection of looks that they really liked that seemed somewhat cohesive, they would throw them up on a mood board, then they would get their pattern makers to cut the looks in a way so that it seems contemporary for a modern audience. Instead, he's doing something that's a lot more interesting. The whole show seems to be about the moment that Princess Diana became the princess. The room that the show takes place in seems to be modeled after the place where the ceremony of Princess Diana's wedding actually took place. All the real brooding reds and the chandeliers, it's very intense 80s royalty feel to it. I even think it's kind of fun that the clergy who officiated the wedding started the whole speech with, "Here is the stuff of which fairy tales are made, the prince and the princess on their wedding day." But fairy tales usually end at this point with the simple phrase, "They lived happily ever after." If she wasn't in the tabloids before, Princess Diana on that day ascended to being the most photographed person in the universe. Everywhere she went, there were people constantly mobbing her, trying to get her to sign stuff or get a picture of her, or get her to talk to him for a second. And so instead of being the one who was constantly trying to avoid those people, what she would do is she would keep really, really close tabs on all of the really big soap operas, and then she would quickly engage people in like 2-second conversations where she would be like, "Oh my goodness, did you see the new episode of whatever? Wasn't it funny when the. And then people would be like, "Oh my gosh, she watched the same thing that I watched yesterday. She's just like me." So ultimately, I think what Virgil is doing is he's taking the spirit of what Princess Diana was doing and he's showing how that is being continued in modern princesses. So like, for example, Gigi Hadid on Instagram has 47 million followers. That's probably somewhat equivocal to the amount of people that were looking at Princess Diana on a weekly, monthly, whatever basis. Even people then and now who aren't like followers of those people are still very, very much aware of their existence, and whether they like it or not, it's part of their lives. Now our contemporary princesses are able to do generally the same thing. Like when we're watching an episode of Game of Thrones, they probably are too. And we know they're watching Game of Thrones because they're on Instagram Live screaming about it. So ultimately, to me, it's not very interesting to look at this picture and then say, oh my gosh, can we find a picture of Princess Diana wearing a matching denim top and bottom? That's a pie crust collar. Do we have any pictures of Princess Diana wearing pie crust collars? Because yeah, we probably do. Name any detail of any kind of clothing ever, and we probably have a picture somewhere of Princess Diana wearing something that kind of looks like that. And in a similar way to Princess Diana's wedding, these Instagram stars are often ascending into this place of public royalty. This is an interesting thing for Virgil to be commenting on because he himself, while being a mega influencer himself, he is the man who is in kind of the center of these circles of women who is there serving them by making them their clothes. Which again ties back to the awesome collaboration with Jimmy Choo, because that's exactly what Jimmy Choo was. He would actually meet with Princess Diana, ask her what she needed, and then he would go home and he would make it for her. Quick side comment. They even used the lasts that were made from Princess Diana's feet for this collaboration. So cool. A serious shouts out to Virgil, by the way, for not taking the easy way out on this. Princess Diana can easily be cast as streetwear god, and that would have been an incredibly easy and, to be frank, pretty badass direction to take this collection in. But instead, Virgil chose to go the very mature route and have a conceptual women's wear show. Oh my gracious, thank you for joining me. Go follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. I'm hilarious on Twitter. Go follow me there. It's at Bliss Foster everywhere. Literally everywhere, except for this YouTube channel, which is Bliss M as in Max Foster. Bliss Maximilian Foster. Did you know that's my full name? Bliss Maximilian Foster. Thank you for joining me. It means so much, seriously, that you guys actually sit here and go through these entire videos and then comment and tell me what you think about them and stuff. That means a ton to me, and I really, really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Let me know what other shows you want to see me do next, and let me know what you thought about this. Did anything feel like it was reaching too far? Did anything feel like it was dead on? Did I not go far enough when I ranted? Let me know, because I value your thoughts. You are smart, and you are cool, and you are enough. Goodbye.